Hey, what's up, everybody? Jimmy Smith doing my post-fight breakdown. UFC 254, Nurmagomedov versus Gaethje. How did my picks do? Really, really well right up until the end, but that's the way it goes. So let's start at the bottom of the card. Magomed Ankalaev versus Ion Kutilaba. Oh, I voted today, so I got my sticker. Send in my ballot. You know what's up. Anyway, Ion Kutilaba, Magomed Ankalaev. I was a little worried about this pick. My pick was Ankalaev by finish early, first round probably. The issue to me was Ion Kutilaba at the weigh-ins was not pulling any crap. No antics, no nothing. I was a little worried because I thought he would fight really reckless against Ankalaev, and Ankalaev would counter him and catch him. As the fight got closer, I started seeing a much calmer Ion Kutilaba, a guy who wasn't going to throw as wild. So when the fight started, and Ion Kutilaba was tight, I was moving pretty well, not taking a lot of big risks. I was like, oh, crap, this pick might not be working out. And then Ankalaev caught a beautiful counter shot, spun him around and sat him down. Got up again, didn't matter. Ankalaev, another counter shot, put him out, and that was it. So it worked out the way I thought it would. I was just worried because for a while there, Ion Kutilaba was looking pretty good and much calmer than he had in the previous fight with him. So anyway, still worked out my way. Magomed Ankalaev by knockout. Lauren Murphy over Shakirova. Well, I thought it would be the experience of Lauren Murphy would lead her to a decision. Instead, Shakirova came at her, did well in the first round, aggressive, took territory very well, very well, was throwing good power shots. Lauren Murphy was staying calm, looking for her countering opportunities. But I thought in the first round she was a bit, on her heels. And then round number 2, good transition to the back, excellent back take off the takedown, and whoop, rear naked choke finish in the second round. So Lauren Murphy gets it done. I thought it would go to decision. She ends up winning by rear naked choke. Wouldn't surprise me if she's next for a title shot after, of course, Jennifer Maia gets her title shot. Just 125 is so thin. Just not a lot of talent there. Lauren Murphy, with the streak she's on, I think she deserves it. She'll probably get the next title shot, let's say. But there's also Jessica Andrade in the mix after a great performance. So we'll see what happens at 125. She's certainly in the mix. She certainly deserves it. And with a division like 125, where the champ is so dominant, they're going to keep cycling through talent. She's going to get her shot, one way or the other. Phil Hawes, Jacob Malcom, I thought it would end exactly like this. Early knockout, Phil Hawes, more athletic, stronger striker, better accuracy, bigger. Malcom in the UFC in his 5th pro fight. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, right? It's just, I don't think so. You're just not meant to. I don't care how well those first 4 fights went, what was going on. In the modern UFC, that's just not enough time to get ready. And he wasn't. And he got blown out in 18 seconds. And I remember sitting there when he was on the stool getting looked at, and his eyes were just zombied out, kind of doing this. And I was like, okay, he's concussed, man. That's bad. So great knockout by Phil Hawes, but went exactly the way I expected. I can't believe somebody with, once again, his 5th fight, getting into the UFC is a big deal. Main card on a card like this? Are you kidding me? Phil Hawes, not a ton of experience, but at least been on Contender Series twice. At least had those nerves, and also a great athlete, really, really powerful. I thought this was a mismatch from the get-go. So, Alexander Volkov, Walt Harris. I went with Alexander Volkov. I thought it would go the distance. I don't know. I work for ESPN International as well, and we did a little segment where we pick stuff coming up in the card, like betting lines and stuff. I bet this one, I thought Volkov would win, but I thought it would go, there were good odds on it going past round 2, I think. And it didn't. Past round 2, into round 3, basically. And it didn't. Volkov able to get a beautiful liver kick, teep shot. And the one thing about body shots is they make you quit. Volkov, up until that point, showing good range, good accuracy. He's deceptively powerful, really accurate, fast for his size. And Walt Harris, despite his real boxing power, didn't have a whole lot of tools. Wasn't able to get inside and get it done. Not a super versatile striker, powerful striker, not very versatile. Think about Alexander Volkov. He can do a lot of things. Good leg kicks, good teeps. Head kicks are very, very fast. Not a bad puncher. And once again, deceptively powerful and deceptively fast for a guy with his build. Usually guys built as tall as he is aren't that athletic. They're not as quick as he is. He's good. And so it just takes a striker who can either take him off, a fighter who can either take him off his feet, or a striker who's versatile enough to show him a lot of different looks. And I don't think Walt Harris showed him enough looks. And as soon as he nailed that teep to the liver, this fight was over. Beautiful stuff for Alexander Volkov. Another pick going my way. Co-main event, Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier, veteran performance for Robert Whittaker. I don't say throwback performance because he's missing a lot of the physical tools that got him to the title. We didn't see a guy who was super duper explosive. We didn't see a guy who attacks at a wide variety of angles. We saw a guy who was smart, wide stance, accurate, picked his shots, very, very careful, cut very good angles, no big gaps, and picked Cannonier apart from the outside. Now, Cannonier did good work with the leg kick. He didn't do enough that it slowed Robert Whittaker down enough that Cannonier could take advantage later. Thought he might finish him in the third round. I believe it was the third round when he really got him in trouble on the ground, a lot of blood, dropped him, and just couldn't quite seal the deal. So the deal with Robert Whittaker moving forward is he's still a veteran. He's still crafty. He's still smart. He's just not as explosive and athletic as he used to be. That makes sense. It's one of the first things to go. So will he rematch Israel Adesanya? Probably, just because he's the biggest name still standing at 185. I don't think it works out any differently than it did the first time, based on what I saw against Jared Cannonier. Yes, he beat Darren Till. Yes, he beat Jared Cannonier. But they were, and I don't mean this as an insult, like ticky-tack performances, meaning very judicious about when he punched, very, very accurate, very, very clean. No big movements, wasn't particularly explosive, didn't really rock Jared Cannonier with anything crazy, right? Dropped him, but didn't rock him with anything wild. He always had those things in his prime when he was champion in his back pocket when he needed them. Remember the flying knees, of course, against Yoel Romero, stuff that he didn't lead with that stuff. It wasn't his bread and butter offense, but it was there when he needed it. He could really explode and drop somebody when he had to. Does he still have that? I don't know. Haven't seen his last couple fights. He's going to need that against Israel Adesanya. You don't want to lead with that stuff. Israel Adesanya is too quick. His timing is too good. His understanding of range is too good. You're not going to, Roy Jones this guy with a leaping left hook from across the octagon. But you need those things in your back pocket to keep him honest. Because if not, he's great with the leg kick. He's great with the jab. He's going to pick you apart. And if you don't get out of that normal 1, 2, 3, 4 combinations most people throw, he's going to eat you alive. Paulo Costa, not a very versatile striker, really good at the 1, 2, 3, 4 with his hands, okay? Good basic punches, and he had nothing for Israel Adesanya. Robert Whittaker has more in his toolkit than Paulo Costa, but that occasional explosive move, the way it kept Yoel Romero honest, can keep Israel Adesanya honest, and I haven't seen that in a few fights. So I don't know if that's there, so that's going to be interesting. So all of my picks up to this point, spot on. I picked Ankalaev, Murphy, Hawes, Volkov, and Whittaker. 5 for 6 heading into the main event, and that's when it all went south. I thought Justin Gaethje looked off balance and hesitant from the beginning. I don't know what it was or what was in his strategy or what was in his game plan that he didn't see in that first round. It partly could have been Khabib's willingness to stand with him, his willingness to put pressure on him, his willingness to throw a wide variety of strikes, kind of loose, kind of slapping, nothing really behind a lot of those shots, but his willingness to just kind of mix it up with Justin Gaethje in space and always walk forward and put physical pressure. It seemed as though Justin Gaethje wasn't prepared for striking pressure. He was ready for grappling pressure. He wasn't ready for someone kickboxing and yet pushing forward and making the octagon small on him. It didn't look like he was fully prepared for that. I found that a little strange because that should be his bread and butter. That's what he's great at. Usually guys in space, he can't wait for you to come forward so he can throw a big punch and put you on your ass. It didn't seem like he had the confidence to do that. So every time he was kind of in position to maybe use a power shot, he ended up having to angle and kind of get out of the way, and he always wanted space from Nurmagomedov, and Khabib never gave him any. So immediately he looked off balance. He did throw the leg kick well, and I was wondering about that from the beginning. He does have very, very good leg kicks, but was he going to throw them against somebody that you think could change levels, grab the kick, and take you down? And he was willing to throw those leg kicks. His punching offense wasn't really there. I don't agree with the two judges who gave him the first round. When I did my show, the post-fight show for SiriusXM with me and RJ Clifford, a lot of callers thought that Justin Gaethje won the first round. I did not. I have to rewatch it and really check it out, but I didn't think so on first viewing. Also, that takedown at the end of the first round was so easy, and him improving positions was so easy. I was like, oh man, that's a bad sign, because if you know wrestling, there's something called a snatch single leg, or they're like what we call cheap takedowns that are easy to get. They don't cost you a lot of energy. You can feel somebody out with those and see how good they are. And he did that a couple times with Justin Gaethje. He would do like a quick little fake takedown, but wasn't really committing his hips all the way, where someone could sprawl and cost him some energy. The moment he did and went, okay, I'm going for it, he got it, and he got it easily. That was an issue. If that takedown had been a little bit harder, I would have given him a better shot in the second round. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is over. Because in round 2, he got the takedown, and it was just an easy takedown, easy mount, easy triangle, and it was over. I just knew as soon as he couldn't stop that takedown at the end of the first round, or that it happened so easily, oh my God, he passed his guard like butter. Well, round number 2, he went back to that well, got an easy takedown, it was over. I really thought Jason Hergow was one of my favorite referees ever. I love Jason. Really missed that tap. I mean, that was a pretty obvious tap. He didn't see it. I don't know if he was erring on the side of, well, maybe Gaethje's trying to get out, and I don't want, title fight and all that stuff. But he really missed the ball on those 2 tap outs. But, that's the way it goes. Beautiful, beautiful submission win for Khabib. I was wrong in the main event. Got 5 out of 6, but if I'm going to be wrong for somebody, I'm glad it was Khabib. Really just blew through Justin Gaethje. And retiring afterward, do I believe it? Yeah, I do. From Khabib, I do. There's a little tiny grain of salt there. I would give it a few months. But usually there's a whole salt shaker full of salt when someone retires. I don't believe it at all. With Khabib, I actually believe it. I will do a whole separate piece on where I think Khabib lands in MMA history. I should be able to do that tomorrow. But those are my thoughts on the fight. My thoughts on his future and where he lands and his past and his record and all those things. Whole separate video. I'll do that soon. Appreciate you. I'll be back before the next fight.